Hi, Luke McCauley here, Wildlife and Habitat Management Specialist. I have wanted to share a video on how to create deer exclosure plots. Now you can use this to protect individual trees or shrubs that you don't want to get browsed by deer. They're also great for putting an exclosure in your deer food plots. A lot of times you want to be able to tell how much are the deer grazing in your food plot versus not. A lot of times you might think perhaps a certain type of plant didn't grow up, but in fact maybe the deer are actually just grazing all of that plant selectively, so you can start to get a sense for what your deer are preferring to graze in your plots. It can also help you understand better if you had a failed food plot due to too much grazing versus some other factors. So I've worked on these different types of exclosures for about 5 years now. Got a lot of tips from farmers over at the Y Research and Education Center where I work. But I want to just introduce you to the parts. We'll start with a stake. This is a 4-foot electric fence step-in stake. You can buy these for about $2.50 from stores around. And they have this platform right here. This is the step that you can put your foot on and drive this metal stake into the ground. So it's very easy to put into the ground and secure just like that. They're pretty easy to come out as well. They're sturdy. They have a nice thick stake at the bottom. They also have various tabs that help make it easy to attach your exclosure. So the second part that goes into this is the fencing component. This is 39-inch long field fence, and you can see it's woven wire that moves through it. And actually this version gets smaller towards the bottom. That can help with things that might want to try and graze at the bottom. Not necessary. This will work just fine either way. You can even put it upside down as the holes get bigger for deer in particular. The way I set these up is when I cut the fence, you get a long roll of it, and when I cut it at the end of one of these squares. So you can see I have this long piece of wire extruding. This continues all the way down. So I cut that down and I use that to help secure the fence to itself. I loop that wire in there and just fold it back on itself and push it in. You can use gloves just to make sure you don't get cut. This stuff is sharp. I like to fold those in so they're facing on the interior of the fence so I don't scratch myself if I'm walking by or catching my clothes or anything like that. And you can see I've done that all the way down this fence. And once you've done that, you've got a really nice secure loop that will hold together quite well. It's stiff enough, but it's a little bit flexible so you can work with it really well. When it comes to securing this in the ground, if you just set this out there, something could easily knock it over, so it's nice to put it down on the ground. And that's where these stepped-in stakes come in. I like to weave this stake part of it through that bottom wire on the ground. I'll flip this around, yeah. Through the bottom part on the ground, and then find my spot where I want to put it on the ground, step it in with my foot. It secures this quite well. And then I take this and I loop it over the top and I snap it into the top roll right there. That alone, for something that's just a single tree, that can work just with a single stake and this small loop. As you get into larger and larger loops, you want to add more stakes to keep it secure. I'm going to show you really quick up close how I attach that. You take that top little fence right there, and when it comes to takedown, this is also really nice. There are multiple stakes on here and you can attach it at multiple points. It gets hard to get in and out if you do that, so I like to just do the top connection and the bottom that's secured through the bottom wire right there. So it makes it for easy takedown. You basically just remove this top wire from that top tab, scoot that out like that, and once it's loose, you can fold it over the top just a bit and pull out your bottom wire, your stake out of the bottom wire. So that's a small exclosure cage. I'm going to briefly show you how large you can get with these. For deer, you can surprisingly get quite large with an exclosure that will work. This is 10-foot diameter exclosure cage. This will work. We've used these in soybean fields where we have a full, mature, healthy plants on the inside and completely grazed out around the sides. So even though it seems like it's too small or too large and that deer can jump in here and start grazing on the inside, they generally don't like to get into something this small. Another factor I think that contributes to that is that deer have poor depth perception. Their eyes are on the side of their head, so they have much smaller amounts of binocular vision than we do. And so when they're coming up to this, they sometimes will have a hard time judging where the end of this fence is and where that back fence is. And when they can't differentiate that, they have some reluctance to jump in. If you go much larger than 10 feet, you will more likely have a deer jump inside and start grazing on the inside. So this is a 10-foot diameter, so to calculate how much length of circular fence you need, it's you multiply by pi, so it's about 31.5 feet that you would cut in terms of fence length, and then wrap it together at the ends like we described. You can see the pattern here. Attach each of these posts in the same way. Makes for easy setup, easy takedown. They're easy to move. Once I've created these, I leave them together and will just store them complete like this. You can take them apart, roll them up, and store them that way as well. But once they're together, it's really nice to be able to just pick them up, move them. You can take them out of your plots at the end of the year if you need to move anything. I like the 39-inch height. It works, and it's the minimal I think that you need. And it's great also because some sprayers you can spray over the top of it, so you can minimize the sort of challenges or logistical issues that you introduce by putting these into your food plots. All right, let me know what you think in the comments and look forward to sharing more soon.